All right, so since I'm mad from milling today, and I'm sitting around, it started raining on me, it just couldn't have been a worse day. I am going to, because if you watch the video that I'm uploading right now from today, which is a terrible video. Matter of fact, I hope you don't watch it because it's such a bad video. I ran the metal detector over that camp, and I'm getting other targets in that camp. And that's a friggin' problem. It's a problem because now what do? I either scrap the log, and there's a lot of good usable lumber in that log, and I don't want to scrap it. But I don't want to roach any other $30 bands either. So I'm going to go to hacking on it to try. So my choices are either I come down big thicknesses and try to hope I can cut 4-inch wide in that area, and then hope I can mill like a couple of 4x4s or 4x6s and miss the metal. Just take a chance. Or in those areas, because they're still on top, I can go to hacking on it, try to find the metal. Or I could pull a chainsaw out, put a chainsaw mill on it, mill it with a chainsaw mill, and hope that, if there is metal in there, I hit it with the chainsaw chain, which, they cost more than a bandsaw band, but there's much less damage to them unless you're hitting something insane. And they're more easily repairable if you hit something hard. But what I want to do is, because you guys saw me out there in the video this is my truck hatchet. I've got several hatchets. One I keep in the back shed. I used to split kindling with it. That's an Estwing. I have this one. I've got a wedge pounder with a broken handle in the garage. I haven't replaced the handle. I have this that I use for joinery in the shop. It's a Hammond, and these old Hammonds, it's basically like a shingle axe, but I will tell you this metal is so hard that I have beat this end with a hammer, splitting off chunks and doing joinery and things like that. I'll take this with me on joinery jobs, and it absolutely does nothing to this. It's impossible to deform. I don't know how hard this is, or this part of it is, but it's incredible. But anyway, I'm going to sharpen my truck axe, and there's 100 ways to do this. I'm going to show you what I think is the easiest. First of all, things you got to understand are what your inclusive angle is. Now you don't need to. You can just try to follow the bevel on this thing as close as you can, whatever came from the factory, and sharpen away and end up with a sharp edge. No doubt about it. I like to try to understand angles, so what I will do is see what's on here and try to understand what they were trying to accomplish by putting that angle on here. Now, I can tell you I've already checked it, and I have somewhere in the shop, 65, somewhere in the shop, over here, and if you guys see it, yell at me, but somewhere over here, and I have looked and looked and looked and looked, and I don't know where it went. Somewhere over here is a bevel gauge, which tells you what your bevel is. This little brass round gauge that has little V's in it. Tells you what your inclusive angle is on any tool. And I don't know where it is. So anyway, I've checked it with my little cheapo general protractor. This thing works great. They sell them at every hardware store. It's part of their general inventory. General being a supplier. And the inclusive angle on this axe is 35 degrees. So basically, each one of these bevels is 17 and a half. That is fairly steep and durable. I would say that it's a little too steep for my liking. I would like to see it be 30, so 15 on each side. But the 17 and a half on this one is fairly durable. This is, matter of fact, I'll show you. This thing sits in the back of my pickup truck full-time 24/7 for years. It gets used out when I need something to either beat on a piece of rebar or bust off a piece of wood, whatever. But this angle is as much as I've done with it, and I'll show you a close-up here, guys. You know, I have not touched this thing in a long time. Let me get my hand in there so you can see. I have not touched this thing in a long time. There's no shine on it, as you can see. You know, it's not like I've come in and sharpened this thing, but I want to show you something. This, in spots, will still pull fingernail off me. And I'm telling you that this thing has been in the back of my pickup truck, sitting in the bed for years, and has done some outlandish shit. So one of the parts of sharpening and being what I consider myself a professional sharpener is to understand what you're trying to do. So I am going to grind this axe at 30. I'm going to go, I like what it's done. The bevel is poorly done. I'll show you what I mean. From the factory, the bevel's poorly done. You can see how it's thick over here, like, you know, like 1/8 of an inch over here, 1/8, and then it tapers off. It's poorly done. Try and get it in focus. Same thing on this side. I can see really multiple facets there. This bevel on this side is a little more consistent in its angle. You can tell by the width. The width of the bevel is determined by the angle. So what you want when you do an axe is you want the bevel facet, this facet on both sides. Same thing if you sharpen a knife, you know, your everyday carry knife or whatever. You want the facet on both sides to be the same, because that means that the angle's the same on both sides, and that'll mean that your bevel, your apex of your bevel's in the middle. Now, is that super important? No, it's not super important. Doesn't matter. But it's something to shoot for, especially if you sharpen for other people. So what I'm going to do is show you what I think is the fastest, most efficient way to sharpen an axe. And the fastest, most efficient way to sharpen anything is to grind it first. Now, I realize most people do not have a CBM wheel, so I'm going to take that out of play. I'm going to take the CBM wheel out of play. Now, 99% of the time that I'm going to grind something like this axe, I am not going to use a rest. Today, I'm going to use a rest because I'm going to try to get it to come out perfect. And see if I can get the, oh shit, fingers. Oh good, I got an axe. I gotta undo this hold fast. See this hold fast right here? So this piece of mahogany radius, that's for me setting bandsaw bands on my bench. So you get that out of the way so this thing can stick through, so I'm not bumping it on my genital area. But the thing that you want, forget this wheel, because most people don't have a CBM wheel. The thing that you want to grind with when you grind, whether it's a plain blade, a knife, doesn't matter. You want to use the coarsest wheel that you possibly can use. Now, the sister to this wheel is up on my bandsaw grinder upstairs, and it is shaped to my sawmill bandsaw bands. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to see how square this wheel is right now to see if I need to dress it. And you don't, guys, you don't need to dress it. I'll actually just shove this in, stick my hole fast on it so that it doesn't move around. I made this setup right here. This is an old Milwaukee General. It was just a head. I made this part of the setup on plywood with, a link belt. And it's a terrific grinder. This was just happened to be an old motor that I replaced, I think, out of an upright bandsaw, and made this grinding setup. Put in the Wolverine jig setup on both sides, and it works terrific, as you would imagine. You see all my little lines on my rest, those are mostly all for drill bits and grinding lathe cutting tools. There's 5 on there, I see 20, but that doesn't matter. But right now, my wheel is dressed fairly parallel. So I'm not going to dress it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set it up to grind this axe. And then we're going to grind the axe. And then we're going to hit it with a sharpening medium after that. To show you how you can do this simply and efficiently. And let's make sure. Yeah, actually that's a pretty good view. Now, a Sharpie's your friend. Let's just do this for the sake of science here. A Sharpie's your friend, and if you want to get the same bevel as you have, or modify it slightly like I'm going to here, you want to take a Sharpie and blacken the bevels or blue the bevels. If it's a blue Sharpie, whatever. You want to paint your bevel. And this is the safest way for you to not make a massive mistake. You can do it with a plain blade. If you're doing a plain blade, most of the time I'm doing it completely by eye. I have done this enough to where I don't find any need to go crazy trying to be careful or anything like that. I I can grind this without, I can take this rest out and grind this by hand, and it would absolutely no problem. So what we want to do first is we want to get it somewhere in the ballpark. And I don't even know what this is right now, but let's just say that the rest, I'm going to get the rest a little bit closer. And you don't, like I said, you don't need a rest. I could do it like this. See that good? Yeah, I could do it like this and, you know, with my hands, but it's nice to have something to rest your fingers on. But we're going to get this thing kind of in the ballpark. You'll see my head kind of move in. One thing I'm finding about my glasses here is that these glasses are not the best in the world. They're progressives at seeing stuff like this. Now, the thing you have to be cognizant of with an axe, and it still needs to go up a little bit, is obviously the taper on the axe is asymmetric. And that doesn't mean that you can't get this and use this rest. I just need to get it close. You want to eyeball it close first. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to spin the wheel. Actually, my belt's getting a little loose there. I'm going to see where it's hitting. And if you look on it right now, it's hitting way down the bevel down here. And that means that it needs to go, this needs to tilt down just a little bit to grind the bevel that's on here. Now, I don't want to grind the bevel that's on here. I want to grind this a little bit sharper than that. So I'm going to go down just a little bit. I don't want this hitting, if it's hitting in the middle of the black, you've got the angle. I don't want the angle. I want it slightly higher, but I definitely want it on the bevel. So I'm just going to pick another spot where there's some black. It actually feels like it's riding on the bevel now. All right, so right now, you can see I'm riding on the bevel. I'm going to make a couple of passes right there on both sides. Because this bevel's greater on this side than the other side, I think this side's steeper. So I think if I grind it at this bevel on both sides, I think I'll be closer to my 30. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to grind it and make sure I'm not going to run into this. Actually, I'm going to move you back just a little bit so you can see my hand motion. I'm going to grind it right at this. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to come in and then follow the grind around like that. And we're going to see how that's doing as we go and if we have to adjust our method. But this is going to make a little bit of noise. You don't have to worry about overheating the metal. It's never, guys, it's never going to happen. So put that myth out of your mind. So using that super coarse wheel, I'm going to show you my progress on those two passes. I'm not pulling a burr yet, but it's fairly even. I had to make an adjustment to hit this corner because my handle was running into the CBM wheel. It'd be better if it was a single wheel here, but I'm going to make because of the width, because now normally what you want to do is you want to grind this until you get a burr on the other side. I've got a burr right here, but I don't have a burr all the way across. But because it's fairly even except for right there. This side is not even. It's way less over here than over here. I'm going to go ahead and grind this, and I'm going to check the angle. See if I got myself closer to 30. I think I've done this enough that I think I will. It helps if you hold out here too. Starting to get that corner back. So I'll show you that side now. It's getting much more even. It's obviously it's a little wider there than here, but we're getting much more even. It's actually fairly consistent with this side. You could be done right now, but I'm going to check my angle, see where I am. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get the apex in focus. See how the apex is pretty much right in the middle. And that's because the distance of this bevel here and this bevel here are the same. So I'm going to check my angle, see what you can see. You see my chair. The troops are home, I can hear them. I'll be able to see when I sit down. Yeah, you kind of can see me. Hopefully it's as close to 30 now.
Where'd you go?
Hi, honey. Hi, Danny. Hi. You're on the other side, hon. They can't see you.
I know.
How'd you make out?
Relatively unsuccessfully, but that's okay.
It's okay. Why do you want to touch my phone? All right, well, the troops are home. So what I'm seeing right now is that we didn't change the angle very much. Still moved about 1 degree. So it's like 17 degrees on both sides. Let me show you. Kate's like, oh my God, you got like a 30-minute video for a 23-minute video for sharpening an axe? I'm like, yeah. Let me show you on my bench with just the grinding I've done. So I got some glue on here, right? Just the grinding I've done on the coarsest wheel possible. This is a maple top. This isn't maple out here, but this is my maple top. I can shave this bench with this hatchet right now. You see that, I hope. Now, it's obviously from the side that I just did, it's got a pretty big burr, and this is, it's sharp enough for the back of the truck, but we want to sharpen the hatchet. So what we're going to do is show you what the next step is. I'm going to leave it at this angle. I could go to grinding forever, but this video would get massively long. What we're going to do now is we're going to break out some sort of sharpening medium. And it doesn't really matter what you use here, okay? You've all seen those axe hockey pucks. I'll go over to my sharpening. Actually, I can't take you over there. If you guys can see through the shop here, I can't take you over there because there's too much going on. I'm going to go grab some sort of silicon carbide stone. Oh, perfect. That most of you would use. I'm going to grab out a couple more things while I'm here just to save myself a step. Now over here I have Japanese water stones out to 30,000. I've got diamond plates. I've got trend diamond plates, which is my primary. I've also got the DMT, which I'm not crazy about, but maybe we'll try it and bring it over here. Here's a regular silicon carbide stone, just like you'd see in a axe hockey puck. Put that over here. And I'm going to bring over the famous Harbor Freight diamond stones. They got the diamond square, and they've got these diamond plates. These things right here are great for doing axes, but I'm going to back you up, and I'll show you a little bit while I'm going at it here. What I would do. Also, I've got plates with these just granite offcuts. You can't see my face, but you can see the plate. Granite offcuts with paper 3M adhesive down. This one's 2500. And this would put a mirror finish on that, all the way down to 500, like you can see over there on my bench. And these are great because what you want, I'll show you, to avoid nicking the hell out of your hands. I'll show you what you want for a technique here. This toolbox on the floor is right in the way to keep you from being centered up on this. But what you want on this is you want control. So I want to check which side my burr is on. Right now my burr is on this side. So I would do that side first. Let's flip it around, because I want to show you what control looks like. Now you can do this in your lap too, like this. Maybe we should just do it like this. I would suggest, if you're uncomfortable with doing this, that you blacken up the bevel again. It doesn't matter what medium you use. Just grab this. It's just a silicon carbide stone, just like you would get at Harbor Freight or Tractor Supply. Make sure that you're seeing in the right spot here. Yeah, I think so. What you want to do is get yourself comfortable, and as you stone on this, you want to see where you're hitting on your black Sharpie mark. You want to make sure that you're hitting across. Your riding as close to on the bevel as you can. Right now I'm just using the coarse side of it. That should move the burr to the other side, which it actually already did. I want to look at my bevel and make sure I've hit the whole thing. Once you get your hand in the right angle, you can just keep going. Now I would use a diamond stone. Because they cut way more efficiently. There's no burr on this side now, but just to show you, they cut more efficiently. And then what we're going to do is we're going to flip it around the other way, because my burr is all on this side now. I'm going to blacken for your sake. Now, if you've done this 100 times, like you're fucking Billy Ray Smith, you can see where the stone's hitting on the bare metal, so you don't need to blacken it. But I'm just saying, for your sake, you don't know what you're doing, you're scared, you're afraid you're going to mess up your axe, just go ahead and blacken it. And then, get yourself comfortable. I'm going to try it. You make a pass and you can kind of see where you're hitting. Now mine's hollow ground, so I'm hitting here and I'm hitting on the bevel both. And I'm using the coarse side of this. I've already knocked the burr over to the other side. You can do a quick little inspection. So if you see on my hollow grind, you can see how I'm hitting on the top and on the bottom, because I ground it on the stone and it's got a hollow grind. It's lower in the middle than on the edges. And you can see I need to do a little more work there, and I think I need to do a little more work towards the tip on the other side. So we'll do those. I'll do a little more work here. I am kind of a big fan of making passes all the way across. And there's not really a lot of magic to this, guys, and I'll show you why. So you can see I kind of look like I'm all willy-nilly about this. But let me show you, even as willy-nilly as it looks, you can see I'm hitting on the heel and I'm hitting on the bevel all the way across. And once you do that, that burr will move back around to the other side. You're ready to work more on this side now. The burr is all facing in towards me now. I can feel it here. And we're ready to move up grit. So again, if you're a little unsure, go ahead and blacken it out. Let's go with the Harbor Freight here. Let's pick let's see, 400, 600. I already did this with 350. Let's just go to the 600 on this thing. This is nice. You can hold it in your hand. We're going to kind of make some passes. Make sure, now just those two passes right there. Just want you to see. See how I hit the heel and the toe at the same time? That means I'm in the right spot. It doesn't take much to figure that out. And then once you get it in the right spot, you can just keep going. Check your progress. I'm not really hitting out towards the toe out here very much. As you keep going, what's going to happen is you're going to grind away that hollow grind. And you're going to end up with a complete bevel, a flat bevel. And as you decrease your grits, or you get to finer grit, you're going to start to get some shine out of what you do. Now, if I had to be critical of myself, I could do this area here a lot more, but for the sake of the video, right now my burr is all on the other side, starting to get a little bit of reflectivity out of the edge. I'm going to go ahead and do this side now with that finer grit, whatever one it is, a 600 on the Harbor Freight thing here. Get it in my lap. Blacken the bevel. So I can see my progress better. 600. Get myself in a comfortable position. Oh, make sure I'm not hitting my fingers. Once I see that I'm hitting on the heel and on the bevel, then I can just go to town at that same angle and just keep going. If I see spots I'm missing, you can make some extra passes there. You can hear that this is a much finer medium than I have been using. You can hear it just from how much quieter the sound is. Now you could keep going with the coarser grit until that hollow grind's gone, but I just don't see any need for that. And so now my burr's all around to the other side now. You can see I still got a little bit of hollow grind in the middle, but I've ground all the way out to the edge. And again, we move up grit. So now we go back to where the burr is. Let's move up to, let's just go to a different medium altogether. We'll go to the trend. I'm sorry, we'll go to the DMT diamond plate. We use the fine side. Which on the fine side is like 1200. You don't need this. You could go to, matter of fact, yeah. Let me do this. Let's grab one of these plates. Let's go to $1,000. Do I want to go to 1,000 or 800? Let's go to, we've already done it to 600. Let's just go to this 800 plate. You can see it doesn't take very much. Let's get your view down here. So you're viewing in my lap here. The medium doesn't matter. This I can hold in my hand, get myself all settled up. I got my bevel blacked. Now my hollow grind's starting to go away now. I'll show you in a minute. My burr's moved all the way back over the other side. You can see that the hollow grind's starting to go away. I'm starting to get down to a flat bevel here. Go to the other side. See, this doesn't take very many passes, guys. If you grind first. If you don't grind first, this could take forever. And also, when you do grind, make sure if there's any damage to the edge that you get it out before you get to this level. Okay, get myself comfortable. You can see those couple of passes right there that I just got to the right angle to where I'm wiping the Sharpie off. once you get to the right angle, you can keep an eye on the Sharpie, see where you need to go more. You can hear the noise it's making is getting less and less and less and less. You could do this with a file if you wanted to. Let's put this one down. So you can see the hollow grind itself is almost gone. My burr has moved all the way back to the other side. This is starting to get really sharp now. Way more sharp than you need for wood. We're starting to get into the realm of, you know, shaving. And let's go to, so we got the burr on the other side. This side you should not feel any burr, which I don't. This side I do. So I'm going to flip it over. Again, if you don't feel comfortable doing this, go ahead and blacken it up again. Let's pick something different. Let's go to the 1200 on the turn plate. Yeah, that's coarser. Tell them how it feels. This isn't trend, this is DMT, sorry, DMT plate. I could just do it with the sandpaper. It doesn't matter what the medium is. Now, as you can hear the sound, this is barely cutting now. We're not removing metal anymore, guys. All we're doing at this point is honing the point, honing the edge. You can see a spot I'm not doing a very good job right here. I'm actually, since I have this plate in my hand, oh, and right there too. You want to make sure that you do it all the way out to the apex of the bevel. Now you're going to stop at some point feeling the burr rolling over because you're going to wipe the burr off. You can go both ways like this too if you want. Because right now you're not removing material. Right now all you're doing is polishing out the edge, but you're doing it at the bevel angle. And we're starting to see kind of like a mirror-like reflectivity on that side. You can keep going and keep going and keep going. I'm going to do the other side now. This is getting like sharp to the point where you have to be careful. Again, just black the bevel out if you don't feel comfortable doing it. Blow on it quick to get it dry, or you put it all over your diamond plate or your stone or whatever you're using. And one thing that's always a fact is that you will be more efficient on one side than the other. However you're holding it, that's just the way that it is. Whether you're doing a pocket knife or anything, you'll always be more efficient one way than the other. And one side will always clean up first. But you can keep going and keep going and keep going until you don't have a hollow grind anymore. Now, I don't see a big reason to do that. At this point now, don't feel a burr either side. This, at this point, is getting really, really, really sharp. Let's see. What do I have with paper? You stay right there. I'll grab a piece of paper. Let's see where we are on the paper scale. I don't know that I can get the paper in a good orientation. This paper feels wet too. So with as little as I've done, we're already getting into, it's still tearing a little bit. I'm having trouble getting this paper's kind of damp. It's not the best. No, that's a rip. That's a rip. Got bad grain direction. I know that this looks stupid. If I had a better piece of paper than this, it would work better. Oh, that's a rip. That's a rip. That's not. If I had a, let's see if it shaves hair. And what you want when it shaves hair like it is right now, it is shaving hair right now, even with as little as I've done, is you don't want any blood. If you have blood, you get nicks. And this can go a lot further than this. So let's take it to them up a little bit. Let's go to 2,000 on one of these stupid plates. You can keep going and keep going and keep going, however sharp you want it. At this point, it really doesn't matter if you blacken the bevel, but let's do it anyway, just for the hell of it. This is a 2,000 plate, just sandpaper on 3M down. And we can go both directions until we find the bevel. And then we're just going to go one direction. With sandpaper, you want to go away from yourself all the time, so you're not shaving the sandpaper off. You'll take nicks off out of it. You could sit here and go to town for hours if you want to. We got almost a mirror finish on it now. I still do have a hollow grind though. Still not, I could have kept going with the lower grits to get rid of that hollow grind, but I just don't see an immediate need for it. Now I'm going to show you the mirror that we got going on now, because now we're getting into a different realm of sharp now. Now we have a mirror. You can see that little bit of hollow grind right there where I didn't do a super job. And you can see the reflectivity in it on the heel and on the bevel. This is getting into the realm of crazy sharp. Wait till you see this shade in my hair. Do the other side. Always do both sides. You have to start being careful of how you hold it now at this point. This is super, super, super sharp. And let's do this side. I'll make sure we're hitting both. And the funny thing about what I said earlier about you're always going to be better on one way than the other, this side, the hollow grind's almost gone. For some reason, I'm just more efficient doing it on this side than the other. Really, the only key to what I did was ground it first. The grinding it first is a really important part. When you get out to these kind of grits, you're basically just stropping the edge. So I got a little work to do down here. Somehow I'm falling off the angle here. I hope the one thing that you pick up is that you don't need anything special to do this. Now, this is just sandpaper. You can see on this side, I almost don't have any hollow grind anymore. And on this side, I do have some hollow grind. Let's see, where are you looking? Careful, I'm looking in the camera, so I'm careful I don't cut my arm. Actually, it's not doing a great job right here. Did a good job shaving up here. Let's just see, for the sake of, see if I can get you in a better spot here. It's not shaven perfectly clean. I don't know if you can see the hair on the axe or not. But for the work I've done so far, this is it's a beautiful edge. Let's see. Which way is down right here? I'm not putting any pressure on this. I don't want to dig into my vise. That's oak, by the way. And you can keep going and going and going if you want to. Now, this is... Let's get looking down more. This is as sharp as a chisel right now. You can see those shaves I'm taking off my bench edge there. I shave across grain. Yeah, you can still see it. I'm not doing this with any pressure at all. I like to see, I wish I had some different paper here. Paper's all really wet. It's not a good job. Not a good tape. Trying to find a place with paper that's not wet and gummy. Yeah, it's not going to work. I don't want to pick a thicker paper on you to try to trick you. What about this? Maybe this. Maybe this will hold better. Still tearing a little bit. Oh God, I almost found a good piece of paper. Oh, that tore. Okay, that's gummy. It's amazing that I can't find any good paper. Paper's just like so wet in the shop here. It's not like a knife, that's for sure. But regardless, that's how you go about it. And you can keep going and going and going and going until you feel like stopping. And so that's a fairly good durable edge, and it's nice and clean. It's sharp. I think just based on my shaving, I should have stopped at like 1,000 on my diamond plate, and I would have been better off because it's still not pulling any blood though, so that's good. It means I don't have any major problems with the edge. It's not clean. It's not shaving clean though, so you know I could have, if I was going to do this and try to get it to shaving sharp. I would have gone on the higher grits longer, or the lesser grits, the more coarse grits longer, to get rid of the hollow grind completely. And spend a lot more time on each level. No. But that's how you sharpen an axe. What I think is the most efficient way. So long video, yep, hour. Tomorrow I'll be using this axe to hack into that cant and try to find that metal. So I hope this video helps somebody. I've done axes for people. When I'm doing an axe for a customer, I'm going to spend a lot more time than what you saw. I know that this is an hour in, but you kind of saw how willy-nilly I went about it. Just to show you that you can do it with anything here. You know, the key is establishing the bevel first. Grinding's the fastest way to do that. And then honing out the bevel. Once you get past, say, 800 grit, you're not removing metal anymore. You're more just honing it. And that's how you get, crazy sharp. If I had to sharpen a pencil with this, hopefully I got this in front of the camera. This is every bit as sharp, if not sharper than most people's pocket knives. So obviously it's not shave, like a kitchen knife is shaving pieces off the, the paper catalog, but this is, it's so sharp that it's easily controllable, which is important with an edge. This is, I'm using very little pressure and it's very easily controllable. to be able to, sharpen this out. So yeah, that's all there is to it. You don't need the rest. You could do this by hand. The rest makes it easier for sure, but you could, most of the time when I'm grinding in my outside shop, which I don't have a rest, and it's got the stupid little rest down here that you just put your hand against and you're just going, yeah, like that. You don't need to have this. This just makes it a little bit more consistent so that you end up with, the same size bevel on both sides, and then the apex of the bevel in the middle of the axe. I don't know, it's tough to see, guys. Sorry. I can't get you want the apex of the bevel. Oh, it's a terrible view. In the middle. And if you have the same size bevel here as you have here, then your apex is in the middle. So that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed watching me destroy Sawmill Band today, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. So I do have hair just falling off me here, all over me. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks.